I'm curious, because you guys have a live play show. What do you think makes a good game master?
Understand what makes a good story, right, is I think the most important part of running a D&D game. You need to understand what makes a good story to be able to lead your friends through a fun story, right? That's, I would say, baseline.
Yeah, yours is very appropriate. I'm gonna say we have currently in the studio 5 phenomenal GMs, and all of them GM extremely differently. But to me, a core thing that everybody brings is how much fun they have in the seat. And that's always been so critical to me. If you're loving what you're doing and you're loving what you're talking about and you're building this thing with your table and you're excited about it, they're gonna get excited about it. That's really what playing at the table is all about, right? You wanna tell fantastic stories. Everyone wants to have fun. Everyone wants to have a good time together. And obviously, like, we're extremely narrative because we're, a live play and we're really trying to put out these stories. But when you're just at home, having fun with your friends, like, that's what it's all about.
There are a lot of different answers to this question. There's knowledge-based answers about how well you know the game. There's descriptive qualities to a good game master, the vocabulary you use, being able to get people to feel immersed. And I think that at the end of the day, the answer is being able to listen to your players and hear the story that they want to tell, hear the character that they're trying to express, and lift them up and support them to creating the story. The best moments that I've had game mastering and the best moments I've experienced as a player was not when the game master was talking. It was when we were free to finally go and live the story that we were trying to feel the emotions, to feel like I was actually inhabiting the character. A good game master can do that well. A great game master, there's no distinction between the fact that you're sitting at a table and rolling dice. No, you're actually in another realm. Your mind is totally elsewhere and you've been transported there by that person.
I think that is a beautiful way to say it. And I think for me, it can be boiled down into 2 things. And the first one is a lack of ego. You have to put your ego aside and realize that it is not about you. It is about the group, and that you are there to facilitate this story for them, and that you don't have to be talking and you don't have to be engaging. If they've got it handled, let them. My favorite moments are, and I am very lucky because I have the players at the table that I have. But my favorite moments are when I can sit back and maybe there was stuff I should have been doing. Maybe there's an NPC that could have been, adding to the conversation, but they don't need me. If I have gotten them to a point where they don't need me, I've done my job. And I can sit back and I can let you take it, and I can, what Derek said, I can listen to you and I can make changes to what maybe I was planning, or alter the course of things because of choices that you made in that moment. That, to me, those are the best moments, because not only do I feel good about what I've done, because when they don't need me, they're having a blast. When they need you too much, it's because there's some kind of disconnect. And so when they don't need me, we're all doing what we need to do. And then the next part is passion. And this was something that I learned from Mike, because I wouldn't be a GM if it weren't for Mike. He was our original GM. The entire reason that I started GMing was because he was constantly saying, oh, I'm going to be the forever GM. I'm the forever GM because I'm the only one who could do it. And I'm like, you know what? I maybe can. Well, I don't know, but maybe. I'm going to try. And then Mike can play. And I realized that I loved it and it was a lot of fun. But what I saw from him and what I've seen from him consistently is not just a passion for the story he's telling, but a passion for the NPCs. When he becomes one of these NPCs, he's passionate about who they are and what they're thinking and what they're feeling and what they're doing. And it allows us as players to not see Mike anymore, but to see whatever that NPC is and to feel the emotions that he wants us to feel with that. And then a passion for how we feel about the sessions. I've seen Mike leave sessions completely elated because he loved everything that happened, and sometimes not in the best mood because he felt like it fell flat or he didn't do well. And it is this passion and this want for not just the story you're telling to be beautiful, but for the people that you love and care about to have the kind of time that you're hoping for, that drives you forward to keep going, even when sometimes it's not the best. Because frankly, we all have sessions that are not our best.
This is another element I think is essential to a great game master, which is courage.
Yeah, and tenacity.
Being able to fail a little bit at it is how you will grow as a game master, and some people are afraid of doing that. Don't be.
We do it live.
Don't be.
Every week.
Yeah.
We fail live
You
every
can
week.
watch us grow
So-
from baby GMs to where we are now, and I still feel like I'm learning, but I look back at some of those earlier game moments that I tried to force or push, and I'm a little cringe. A little cringe.
A great game master is a game master that cares about narrative and cares about the principles of storytelling and gives their friends a reason to care. They check their ego. It's not about writing your personal novel. It's about having a collaborative storytelling experience. But it still is your responsibility to give your party the handholds in order to tell a beautiful story together. And I believe the principles of storytelling haven't changed since we were all telling them around a campfire thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. And so I think a GM that brings that gives their players the spotlight and shares in the narrative, control and the collaboration in that narrative is a game master that is truly special. Doesn't necessarily get bogged down on being a rules lawyer. Still enforcing the rules because they do matter, the dice do matter, and they help tell a really wonderful story. But not letting that get in the way of telling that narrative and really sharing in that collaborative storytelling experience.
A great GM is an ally to the players, not an adversary. Like Mike said, being able to collaboratively tell a story is important, but really everyone's fun is first and foremost. And trying to be antagonistic and kill your players won't lead to the players having fun. And I think that if its goal is aligned in sharing in the story, sharing in the fun, and sharing that goal together, then you'll have a much better RPG experience.
There's lots of flavors and ways to play D&D, but I think that you'll have more fun if you are open to collaboration with everybody at the table, because I do believe that D&D is a collaborative storytelling game.
Well, and vice versa, right? I think also from a player's perspective, you want to come up oftentimes with these like really amazing moves, right? But if you're like really catching your GM off guard, a game like, oh man, how do I pay this off, right? And so kind of just like when you work together to tell great stories, it's so much more seamless. We were at a con, you were running a table right next to mine, and you were doing like a pit diving, you started doing Orpheus. And I literally shifted the way I was standing to move closer to you so I could hear what you were GMing. Because I was like, what the heck? Eddie is so good.
Well, thank you. I just like your impression of Mike.
I never heard you. Yeah, that's the key. If you can just mimic Mike, you're like, that's the other GM advice. Mimic Mike, you're going to do fine. But yeah, I was like, holy smokes, man.
That's very kind of you to
I'd
say.
never even heard you GM before. And I was like, man, I'd play that table. I'd sit down right now.
Thank you.